Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Election 2024. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio presents.
Hi, my name is Penny Tindall, and I am the new host for the podcast called The Professionals. We will be broadcasting this podcast live every first and third Wednesday of the month at 10:15 a.m. Tune in and learn about local businesses and their innovative minds behind them. Each episode, we will journey through the unique stories of our neighborhood entrepreneurs and nonprofits and uncover the passion, the challenges, and the triumphs that drive our local economy. Join us as we explore how dedicated individuals are crafting not only vibrant enterprises, but also are more connected to our local Las Vegas and Henderson community. Stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Penny Tindall. Hello, hello. Every time I see that intro, I cringe. I definitely want to redo that one. But
no,
anyway,
you did great, Penny.
It's comedy. Great. It's comedy. I'm not a professional. I'm just here to speak the word, spread the news, as they say. And today my guest is Chad Ramos. The great thing about Chad is he is one of my local neighbors here in my Summerlin publication called Desert Foothills Living. I actually had him on the cover with his beautiful family. So thank you, Chad.
Yeah, thank you.
For being
awesome.
my neighbor. So the great thing is, of course, once I meet my neighbors, you're also a business owner and you have an important opportunity to spread the word. This month is Prostate Cancer Month. And so you have an event coming up. But first of all, I want to introduce people and just tell them what Privado Health is about and how you can help the folks out there in the Las Vegas Henderson area.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. Really appreciate the opportunity to spread the word. Yeah, as you said, we are involved. So Privado Health, we focus very specifically on a brand new type of cancer therapy that was just FDA approved about 18 months ago. We've been doing it overseas in Germany and Australia and other places, but it was just FDA approved here. I actually just saw my first commercial for the drug that we use on this last Saturday on the Texas-Michigan game. So Novartis is really starting to promote it, and you'll start seeing Novartis, and the drug is called Pluvicto, the drug that was approved for the FDA approved, and so. But it's really, really exciting. It's a new type of technology that is able to treat prostate cancer, and there are clinical trials happening for other cancers, but right now it's very specifically for prostate cancer. But that's a really good thing. 1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer. A man dies every 15 minutes from prostate cancer. And so it's one of those cancers that if you find it early and you can catch it early, and it's very, very treatable. And up until now, so this new technology is called theranostics, and it's a combination of the word therapy and diagnostics because it uses the same combination of molecules and biomarkers to both see and to treat that therapy or to treat the cancer. And so my chief medical officer likes to say, we treat what we see and we see what we treat, because in between each therapy you're able to get a scan and see it in real time in your body, the tumors that are going away. And so it's really, really incredible. But it essentially replaces chemo. So Privado Health, we are kind of all in on this new type of cancer therapy. And so we do clinical trials with drug companies that are working on this. We treat our own patients, as you mentioned, and we're doing research for new drugs as well. And so we are all in because, when I heard about this about a year ago, I was just blown away. It just sounded like science fiction. It just sounded too good to be true, but it's just great science. That's what it is really great science. And we can jump into that detail of the science, a little bit later, but that's what we do, is we focus on helping men and their families beat this terrible, terrible cancer.
And I like what you were saying, that it's more of like, is it considered with the scan and everything, you have like a holistic approach, my understanding is, because it's not only doing the scans and the treatments, it's also feeding your body and taking care of your body physically, right? Once you learn about it.
It's really important that we understand how important mental health is and how important your nutrition is and your exercise and all of those things. There's some really important factors that happen when a man gets prostate cancer, and there's some really great things that you can do for your body and your mind. Now, I wouldn't say the therapy itself is holistic. I mean, it is an FDA-approved radiopharmaceutical, but our approach to is just a little bit more of a full 360 view of what you can do for your body and for your mind. But the radiopharmaceutical is a really important part of treating that cancer for sure.
Okay, yes, because basically, if you can see it, you can treat it. So it's kind of target focused on you, because before, when you did like chemotherapy, you just basically did your body.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother, in the 80s had found out she was breast cancer, and she did chemo, and she said, no, I will not do it anymore. It's not worth it. She believed in quality versus quantity. But I love that you're saying that once you see it and you target it, you can actually cure the prostate cancer. Is that there is an opportunity to actually cure it? Does that sound like a fair term?
Yeah, well, cure, what they do, I mean, when you say cure cancer, it has to have been not in your body for 5 years, right? And so that's kind of what you need to do. So it's more around being able to treat that cancer, see that it is going away, and track it and continually to see that it goes away, right? So curing is just one of, like, when you actually say cure, it's based on it not being there for 5 years, right? So if you
just like a common cold. Yeah, like a common cold. You're going to still get it, but the whole point is to treat it, to mentally, to see it, shrink and to reduce could be also fantastic for the family, because I always talk about quality of life, stressing about,
for sure.
Stress is also a killer for us. So yeah, I understand that. So now you had mentioned, go ahead.
Well, you had mentioned chemo, and it's a really good comparison there, because chemo has all these really terrible side effects, right? Chemo has been a miracle for treating metastatic cancer, for cancer that is all over your body. It's been a miracle, but it does come with some really intense side effects, and everybody knows about that: losing your hair and throwing up and all of those things. And it's because, along with killing the cancer cells, it kills a lot of really healthy cells. And the difference between chemo and a new type of therapy like theranostics specifically targets just the biomarkers on prostate cancer cells. That's how it works. So if chemo is taking a blowtorch to the whole forest, it's like a lightning strike just to the trees that are the problem. So that's what's the miracle of science, is that scientists have now discovered that prostate cancer has very specific biomarkers on the cell. And what they've done is they've built molecules that bind only to those cells. And so that is why you don't get the side effects that come with chemo. It's not some crazy miracle. It's just that they're not killing all the healthy cells. And that's the point, right? And so we are now at a state of cancer treatment where we're able to do a much better job at targeting and killing very specific cells that we're looking for, as opposed to killing a bunch of collateral damage, if you will, to the body. And so, of course, that's what we all want to see. You want to be able to treat illness, and there's some really great technology that's being implemented, and there's so much innovation happening in the cancer space with things like immunology and or immunotherapy, and other types of really targeted approaches. But theranostics is one of my favorite new technologies out there because of how specific and targeted it is. So it's really exciting. That's for sure.
It is exciting because, when you say target, it just makes more sense because, you don't want to put a Band-Aid on something. You need to target it, and a lot of the drugs that we have nowadays is just generally going through your bloodstream and, looking for something, but this one is very specific. And I find that the technology is incredible. I see your passion about the technology, and that there are also other opportunities that you can use this for later on to progress for other cancer causing diseases, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So because every cancer has unique biomarkers. So what scientists are doing is they're saying, okay, let's now build this targeted approach to those specific biomarkers. But to get an FDA approved, it can take 5-10 years, because you go through all these different clinical trials, and there's phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. So even though there's really good innovation, it still can be years before it's available and here in the United States. And that's what we see with a lot of different kinds of medications, is that you can actually go overseas. And we have partnerships in Germany and Australia where we can send patients, and it's almost half the cost than if you're being treated here, so it really is an interesting opportunity. But this new technology is actually FDA approved. So Medicare will cover your therapy here in the United States. It'll fully cover it as long as you've jumped through some hoops. And so, for instance, you have to have had chemotherapy and it failed for you. And then you can use this new type of drug like Novartis's drug Pluvicto. But if you don't want to do chemo, which a lot of our patients, when they hear about it, they say, hey, I don't want to do chemo. I want to go straight to this really good drug, right? And this one that's really targeted. And so we do have options internationally, but it's self-pay, right? It's people paying with cash so that they don't have to go through that. But the exciting thing is that we're hearing rumblings that the FDA is going to approve theranostics for before chemo, right? So it 10x's the amount of patients who can have it treated with their insurance. And so that's really, really exciting, because it's not just the innovation of the drug, but it's also working its way through the American healthcare system and through insurance and all of those things. And that's a whole other topic, right? So that's why we just like to be able to meet with people and help them, give them their options and explain the situation. And that's certainly part of why we're doing things like this event we're going to talk about, is just helping people understand what their options are and getting ahead of it. So they're not just reacting to being very sick or something.
Yes, kind of like a grassroots project. And you do have an event. And like I said, when I met with you, prostate cancer was not something that I thought about. And now, since I've met you, because I tell folks, I have this, innovative new client that talks about prostate cancer. He has an event, because that's what I do. And the one gentleman that I had a mixer, he's like, I had prostate cancer, and I did get a cure, and he treated in Germany. And we're going to connect you with him. And then I just found out just yesterday, that I had a passing with my own family, that he had prostate cancer did not know it, and then, a few days passed with it, because it wasn't in my field of vision. So your
Yeah.
passion is just to kind of get the word out there. Why don't you go back over, before we go over the events, the stats? Because I was
Yeah.
surprised when I talked to my men, my men friends and stuff. They're like, "Oh, I've never done it. I've never checked up with prostate cancer," but they're all like my age, in their,
Yeah.
mid 50s, and they haven't even it hasn't even crossed their
Yeah.
mind, as they say.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give us the stats again on that.
Yeah. 1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer. And it feels like it's even more than that. And so, what a lot of people will say in the medical space is that you're either going to die from prostate cancer or with prostate cancer, right? And so, what is very true is if you get stage one, you can live with that the rest of your life and be totally fine, and it's no problem. But then it could progress. And of course, stage four, like you had mentioned with your uncle, unfortunately, stage four is a death sentence and has been a death sentence. What's wild is that is all we treat is stage 3 and stage 4 prostate cancer patients. And so there are ways to be able to do that, for sure. But 1 in 8, a man dies every 15 minutes from prostate cancer. So it's something that it's just very true. You have to get it done. You have to get a PSA test. I mean, to really start your journey of just kind of understanding where you're at, it's a simple blood test, right? It takes 2 minutes. And, that's what we're doing for free at this event is just to give you, and it tests your PSA levels. And we can talk a little bit about that, but it's really the first step you take to understand, hey, are you at risk? And then if your PSA levels come elevated, then you can kind of go to the next steps and get some more aggressive screening. But at the initial stages, in some ways, just to be able to check off the box to say, this year I'm good. So let me, I'll go next year, and it'll take another 5 minutes and simple blood tests, right? It's and only if it's a bigger problem do you need to go there. And it's interesting, you're starting to see more and more generally ideas like full body scans, and there's pros and cons to that, but the idea is people are starting to take a little bit more focus on their own health, and instead of just going into the doctor and just waiting for them to tell them what's going on, they're trying to be a little bit more proactive and really understand what's happening with their own bodies and being an advocate for their own bodies. But part of it is just knowing what's going on in your body. And with prostate cancer, that first step is a simple blood test. And so please get tested. If you don't come to this event, ask your doctor. It's super simple. It's very inexpensive. There's nothing crazy that has to go on to get this basic test. And so, but men are very, very hesitant. The numbers out there are really, really terrible, where men who should be getting tested are not getting tested and have never even heard about a PSA test. And so part of my job and part of my passion is just getting the word out about it. And so a huge percentage, I would say 90% of our patients, hundreds of patients, 90% of them heard about this from a friend or a family member or a podcast or something. I'm talking about Theranostics, what we do. Right. They're not hearing about it from their doctors, right? And so part of it is getting the word out about it. So I appreciate you helping us get the word out about it, because someone's going to hear this right. program, and they're going to know someone with prostate cancer, and there's a really good chance that we could save their life. I was just on a podcast a little while ago, and we had hundreds of leads come into our website from the one podcast, and now I'm going back on next month because we have already started treating some of those people that came from that podcast. And so it's a really interesting time right now where you've got this innovation and you've got these incredible things happening, but you're not necessarily going to hear about it from your doctor or the hospital or whatever, because they're kind of entrenched in their ways of saying, hey, here's what we do, here's what we've done for the last 10, 20 years, and this is what insurance is going to cover, and boom, right? But there's a lot more out there, and so you kind of need to do a little bit more research and really understand your options.
Well, just like with breast cancer, they have such a breast cancer awareness and everything, and now we have Prostate Cancer Month. So, basically, do an annual screening for all men. You're saying the age
100%.
to start is around 45 years of age, or
Yep.
if they have any family difficulties, it's pretty easy to get the screening. Your doctor
Yep.
can. Okay, so that's good. Now, what was I going to talk about? So yeah, you have this event coming up,
Yeah.
and we want to talk about that because
Great.
first of all, my one question was, like, when you do the breast cancer, they tell you, in the shower, check for breast cancer lumps and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it
Sure.
something that a man can do? Like, is there anything that comes about that gives you symptoms, or it's
Nope.
really
Nope.
not?
And that's why it's such a deadly cancer, and why people can have no symptoms and then be dead 6 months later, right? And so, unfortunately, there's a lot of those things. Some of the symptoms of prostate cancer and of prostate health are things that are kind of common, like peeing more often, or some of those things that you wouldn't necessarily go, oh, I'm sick, I must have cancer, right? That's just not the case a lot of the times with prostate cancer, and especially early on, right? Which is when you want to catch it, right? So, the initial test. I mean, with women, you've got mammograms, and you can do the feeling it in the shower like they talk about. With men, they're just not, it's not that type of test. It's really a blood test that you need to take, because if you have prostate cancer, it puts off different chemicals that'll happen in your body. And so what the test specifically is called a PSA blood test, and it is prostate specific antigen. And so what it's doing is just simply grabbing that information, and testing it in your blood to see if you have elevated levels of this PSA. So you'll get a score, and it'll tell you what it is, and we'll give you the range. We'll give you a bunch of information. You can Google it and see that, pretty simply. But that blood test will tell you whether you need to kind of get further screening, or if you're good this year. And definitely an annual 5-minute blood test is worth your time, right? Because then you're going to always catch it. You're going to be able to do those things if you just have a normal routine. We're trying to make it simple this year for men. Like you said, it's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. September is. And so we're partnering with the Drip Bar, another one of your friends, and a really great location. It's he's awesome. And so we're partnering there. It's next Tuesday. It's 11 to 6. You can come in anytime from 11 to 6. Come in quick, get your blood test. We will follow up with you in a couple of weeks when we get the results, and we'll kind of talk to you about your options, and then you'll just take it from there. And certainly we can help you in a number of different ways, but this is completely free. If you register, you can win some Raider tickets. So we're trying to make it as fun and simple as possible, and really give guys no excuse to not know whether this is in their body or not. You know what I mean?
I understand you going out for the men, but also a shout out to the women, the wives, the girlfriends, the daughters, the mothers, everyone, because honestly, it's a simple blood test. And sometimes, you might want to just say, hey, you know what, we're going to do a drop by, get dressed. We'll have dinner afterwards. We'll have lunch afterwards, and coax them to the event. Of course, they're going to make that decision, but, as for the fathers and everything, do it for your kids, do it for your family members, because like you just said, it could be 6 months. You think you're fine, and then 6 months, it might be the breadwinner, and nobody wants to lose anyone, even their friends. So yes, the Drip Bar is right off of Flamingo, just between, I believe, Arville and Valley View.
It's right next to the Palms, right? The Palms Hotel is just right there west of that. Yep.
Yes, and that is Tuesday, September 24th. And it is a big time span, 11 to 6. Yeah. And again, the reason why you're asking for the RSVP is because you have folks there ready to do the test for them, right? So it takes, how long would the test take? A few minutes?
5 minutes. All you,
5 minutes.
yeah. So
5 minutes.
all we're doing is taking the blood. So we're not doing the test itself.
Oh, I
What we're
see.
doing is we're just drawing the blood, and then we're taking the blood that day and doing the tests. And within a week or two, you'll have your results and that. So so yeah, it's a very simple. You know, you coming by and just doing that, right? And so yeah, the reason why we want to know is because we've got phlebotomists, people who are going to be taking blood, and we've got the you know, the drip bar ready for us to be able to do that. And so, and we tried to make it, you know, Vegas is a 3-shift town, right? So we tried to make it so that you could come in before or after work, and so it's 11 to 6. So we try to give you a lot of options to do that and fit that in. And so, like, you know, but like you were saying, the women of the household are generally the ones that are going to be making these decisions. That's for sure, and trying to help it. So if you're a woman, you need to call your husband or your father or your brother or your son and just say, just go. The worst you can do is no for certain that you don't have to worry about that this year. You know what I mean? Like, so it's super simple, completely free, and we're trying to make it fun and easy. That's for sure.
So how would they RSVP? Would they go on your website?
Yep. So if they go to privadohealth.com, so Privado, privadohealth.com, you'll see it right there on the home page. Click on it, and you'll just simply put in your, you know, a little bit of contact information to RSVP, and that's all you need to do, right? And even if you don't RSVP, and if you just at the last minute you just want to come, that's fine too. We're just trying to make it easy, and certainly for us to kind of know a bandwidth perspective, and that's why we're giving away Raiders tickets as part of that process of RSVPing, because it just makes it easier for folks.
So I'm going to send about 20 people over there. So we're going to have to make sure they RSVP, because I find like this is very important. I think that hopefully we can schedule something for October. You know, it'd be perfect because Halloween, you know, blood, you know, instead of a blood drive, you know, save life. Because really, you do have a long span from 11 to 6 o'clock. I urge all the people out there, everybody should be able to refer 1 or 2 people, 3 people to this event. It's best, like you said, to go to privadohealth.com, RSVP, so you have a time slot. We don't know really what the amount of people are going to be, but you do have an opportunity to win prizes, and most of all, win your health back. I mean,
for sure.
Don't be sorry to be sorry. So I think that this is an amazing. I know you have passion for this, Chad. That's why, you know, I wanted to put you on the podcast during the month of September, just so we could do a shout out for your event. I'm definitely, if anybody misses out, you know, you can also reach out to me, you know, Penny with Desert Foothills Living. I do have my screen. Phone number is 702-420-8964. But Chad, is there a number that they can call maybe for an information hotline, or someone that can reach out to them, or maybe another contact like an email if they cannot?
Well, if you go to our website, absolutely. If you go to our website and we have a contact form right on the website. Even if you just want to find out more information about what we're doing on the theranostic side of things, or, you know, for just kind of understanding what your options are, or if you want to find out more about this test. Now, of course, we're doing it that day. You know, we're making it fun. We're doing it at a specific place and partnering with the drip bar. But we can help you get tested anytime, right? So if you're out of town next week or something like that, we can still help you do that. And I'll just say it right now. Anytime this whole month, if you come to us, we'll get it. We'll test you for free. We'll find out a way to get it done so that you can have that for that. And so I'll put that on there as a radio special. There you go.
Radio special, free. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, there you go. So privadohealth.com. That's where you can find out more information and see the stats and you know, see patients, interviews, and all kinds of different things. But that's the best place to start for us, for sure.
Okay, well, we're going to be looking for those ads, and we thank you for your sponsorship and the information and your passion to be able to provide this opportunity for the men and the families with their fathers and their brothers and everything. So everybody go out, learn about prostate cancer. Like you said, every 15 minutes, that's a scary stat.
It's
1 to
terrible.
every 8 men, and it is curable, possibly not curable, but controllable.
No,
Targeted.
it's very curable for sure.
Oh, it is curable.
Absolutely. It's very curable.
Okay.
It's very treatable. Those are those things. It's not going to be a death sentence. It's only a death sentence if you don't get ahead of it. And, even at stage 4, like I said, that's all that we treat as stage 4, right? And we have an 88% success rate. So, even then, I just don't want to discourage people and say, oh yeah, no problem, you could wait, right? You don't want to wait. It's expensive, and there's lots of things that you need to do. You'd rather catch it early. We'd rather wait, right?
Right.
So just go there, get tested. Prostate cancer is because it's so common, there are a lot of different options for you. But there's just no excuse anymore, right? It's just too easy to go in there. The only risk you take is if you just don't do anything and you're just walking blindly, right? And so, but yeah, 1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer. If you're a Black man, it's 1 in 6. So there's all kinds of different statistics out there that are pretty terrible. But the nice thing is, very, very doable to beat this thing and to find out. So it's just about taking control of your own life, and just knowing what you have. I think men kind of take this thing of like, it's fine, I'll just deal with it when I deal with it. And I think you do that in a lot in your life. And so unfortunately, with your health, you kind of do those things. And that's an unfortunate thing, that a lot of times men don't handle their health until it's a problem, right?
Right.
And whatnot.
That's
and so this is what you don't want to do, right? You want to get ahead of it, especially as it's happening. If you look at the trends, so many different cancers, including prostate cancer, men are getting it more often and they're getting it younger. And that is the same for lots of other different cancers. It's a really terrible trend that we're seeing. And there's a handful of theories out there of why it's happening, but it is happening. We're treating a cowboy out of Texas. He's 40 years old, and he is like a full-on, that is his cowboy, riding bulls in particular and stuff, and it's crazy. And he's very healthy and fit, and all of a sudden he's got stage 4 prostate cancer. And he's like, what is going on? I don't feel sick. I don't, whatever. But he was lucky enough to get tested. He heard about us on this podcast. And so it's just those kinds of things where you just need to know, right? You need to know, and it's very treatable. But just don't be a fool and ignore it, right?
Yeah, don't delay. Don't be a fool. I love that. That could be our next ad campaign. Don't be a fool, dude.
Don't be a
Get
fool,
it done. Get it done once a year. And peace of mind. It's also very important for peace of mind. And care for your family, as they say. So it was a pleasure having you here. I'm definitely going to participate. I'm going to the drip bar, and I'm going to stand on the corner with a sign or something and get people out there, because I do feel your passion. I feel your passion. And, I always say that my dad was a superhero, and for our superheroes, we need them to be healthy. So women out there, get your guy, whoever that is, to, make a point, RSVP for them. If there's something on the website they can print out, give them the stat sheet, and let them know that you're only doing it for you and for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks. That's the end of our podcast. We just have a couple of minutes. So if there's anything else, if we want to shout out your website one more time, and the date of the event and the time, let's do that. And again, I appreciate your time, Chad, and I will speak to you soon, but go ahead and do your shout out.
Absolutely. So Privado Health, it's Privado, privadohealth.com. And there's tons of information. We've got a ton of information you can print out and learn about prostate cancer and learn about this really amazing, innovative way of treating prostate cancer. The event is next week, next Tuesday, anytime between 11 and 6. You can stop by the Drip Bar, really beautiful facility. It's on Flamingo. It's right west of the Palms Casino, right? That's kind of the area of town that it's at. 11 to 6, completely free. If you RSVP, you could be entered to win. You will be entered to win some Raiders tickets that we're giving away. trying to make it easy and simple and fun for you to come in, please stop by, get tested, find out for sure what you have inside of your body from a prostate cancer. It's just there's zero excuse, right? You have to know, you have to be in control of your life and your family and your friends and all those other things. And this is one of the simplest things you can do for your health is just know where you're at and be able to take necessary steps. So you and I are going to be sending all of our friends and family. And so join the cause, make it, I guarantee you from this group of people, there are going to be people who are going to catch something and they're going to be glad they did. Right. And so that's what this is about. It's just getting the word out and making it awesome. And it's free. It's going to be awesome.
It's free. It's at the Drip Bar. It has a cool logo. You're going to see it. It's right before the Palms. And if you have any questions, like you said, check out the website. We are here to support Chad and Privado Health, and be a hero. Take care of yourself. Thank you. That's the final episode, the final chat for today. I will see you next Wednesday on the 1st of the month. Thank you, and stay healthy and stay blessed. See you there. Bye-bye.
Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Election 2024. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.